On Thursday, when the World Cup kicks off, we'll see something the sport has never really experienced before. Two living legends stepping on the stage for the sixth time. Lionel Messi for Argentina and Cristiano Ronaldo for Portugal. Names so big they're almost brands more than players at this point. Are back again, trying to stretch out the final pages of their international stories. They've won almost everything there is to win with their clubs. They've lifted league titles, Champion League's brackets, personal awards, and signed sponsorship deals, and turned them into global icons. But none of that happened overnight. It took dedicated work, thousands of training hours, and that most of us will never see, and more than a few painful losses. Now, in what might be the last World Cup, the question hanging over the tournament is who's going to write the next chapter of the global round of stardom? When your childhood heroes are still playing, who gets to become your kid's first football hero? As you listen, keep the question in the back of your mind. If Messi and Ronaldo defined an era in this World Cup, has a game and personality to define the next one? Let's start off with the two names that every single person knows. For nearly 20 years, Messi and Ronaldo have done something that's nearly impossible to do. They've turned a rivalry into a shared empire. They've pushed each other to score more, to win more, and stay relevant longer than each other, in that anyone thought was reasonable. Messi, playmaker magician, drifting between lines, heading passes that don't seem to exist until he plays them. Ronaldo, the hyper-focused goal machine, reinventing himself from the winger to the striker, and mastering the art of timing and positioning inside the box. 6 World Cups means they've spanned generations of teammates and coaches. Kids who watched him in their first tournaments are now adults, some with children of their own. Their presence is almost a comfort, a reminder that some stories can extend longer than we much expect. But football, like any industry, can't live in nostalgia forever. At some point, even the most brilliant careers become history, which raises a very practical question for the sport. Who's ready to step into the space that they leave behind? Is the next global star already here, and we just all haven't noticed yet? Which leads to a second question. Are we watching the birth of new icons in real time? Or will this World Cup be remembered as an in-between moment? The laugh dance of one era and the messy start of another? Erling Haaland, player from Norway. There's one name that analysts and hardcore fans point as to the most gifted scorer in the world. It's Erling Haaland. Haaland is tall, fast, freakishly strong. He's absolutely clinical in front of the goal. The kind of striker who seems to appreciate and exactly what the ball is going drop again and again. At a club level, he's already broken records of goals scored in a season, especially in England, one of the toughest leagues on the planet. He's the kind of player that makes defenders not just outmatch, but so surprised that a human being can even move in that way. Here's the twist. Norway hasn't locally been a football powerhouse. This matters because the World Cup is in some way team story first. You can be the best scorer in the world, but if your national side can't make a deep run, you might not get the global spotlight casual fans reserve for heroes. Players from non-traditional football nations often have to do more earlier just to keep the teams in the contention. For Haaland, this World Cup is a chance to prove that his scoring touch isn't just a club phenomenon, but something he can translate to the highest national stage. And international fans who don't watch club football every weekend, but will tune in for the World Cup and remember the name of whoever scores the biggest goals. If he catches fire, he has one of those tournaments where everything he hits seems to go in. He could go from the player that analysts like to talk about to the guy your non-sports friend suddenly knows. Harry Kane, the captain with the nation on his shoulders. Then it's Harry Kane, the captain of the England football team. England has a unique relationship with football. It calls itself a home game and is one of the most watched leagues on the planet. Its national team carries a weight of expectations that's almost impossible to describe until you've seen the headlines and the analysis and the pressure. Kane is a classic centre forward in some ways. Strong and good in the air, deadly in the box. But also a surprisingly gifted passer, often dropping deep willing to play. Penalty taker, set piece threat, and leader in the dressing room. The phrase you hear a lot about England, bring it home, is the country's desire to win another major trophy and bring football's biggest prize back to where the modern game was play. Kane, this World Cup is legacy. He's already England's all-time top scorer, deep World Cup run, but a trophy would cement his place among the country's greats. And narrative. Casual fans tend to remember moments. A late winner, a penalty, and a knockout game that becomes the folklore. Kane can lead England in the final stages, especially dramatic fashion. He could become the player whose face and story travels beyond football of his countries into broader global culture. Do you become a global icon because of your skills or because of the story your country tells with you at the center? Which raises our third big question. In a tournament like this, is individual greatness enough? Or do you need the right jersey, the right teammates, and the right narrative arc to become one of the names that everyone remembers? Then there's the kid. Spain's Lamine Yamal is a teenager on the edge of something most players never even get close to, introducing himself on the global stage before he's old enough to order a drink at many countries watching him. Yamal is a high forward with incredible close control, quick, fearless, and creative. The kind of player who will try things most adults wouldn't dare in a World Cup match. Spain has a rich history of producing technically gifted players, which what makes Yamal stand out is the timing. He's arriving just as a generation of Spanish players are retired and fading out. He plays with freedom and swagger that feels much more like street football than coaching manual. This World Cup could be his hello world moment, when a teenager becomes a player kids imitate on playgrounds everywhere, and a learning experience, where flashes of brilliance sit alongside mistakes and tough lessons. Either way, for casual fans, there's something magnetic about the prodigy. You feel like you're not just watching a player, but the beginning of a story you might follow for the next decade or more. And you get to say, years later, I remember seeing him when he was just a kid. So let's circle back a little bit. What actually makes a very good player into a global breakout name? Well, few ingredients usually show moments in big games, a goal in a final last minute equalizer, a solo run that gets replayed for years. Two, narrative hook. The teenager, the underdog, the captain carrying a country, player overcoming injury, doubt. Number three, a look and a personality. Kids buy posters they can recognize instantly. Their haircut, celebration, the way they carry themselves. And the club follows through. After the World Cup, the players in club season that confirmed that we saw wasn't a one-off thing. Messi had it in 2014, even before he lifted a World Cup. Ronaldo had it in 2004 and 2006 as a young electric winger. This year, someone, maybe Haaland, maybe Kane, maybe Yamal, maybe someone we're not even talking about yet, will have a game or a moment that suddenly explodes across social media and into living rooms around the world. The beauty of a tournament like this is that nobody can fully script who that will be. So when the World Cup kicks off and you see Messi and Ronaldo take the field once again, you might also be keeping an eye for the players who stand next to them in the line. Because somewhere in spaces is the one of your kids or your younger self will talk about the way we've been talking about these two for almost 20 years. Thank you for listening to Business Insights Daily. I'm your host, Shashank, and we'll see you tomorrow.